All right, and we are back here on the GSMC Football Podcast. And for the fourth part of the show, we are going to now talk about the Jets Titans game from yesterday. Aaron Rodgers picking up his first win back after missing all of last year, basically. And it was good to see that. It really was. It was funny, though, because after the game, he said, yeah, technically this is not my first win because he started that game against the Bills last year, so he got credited the win. It still counts, even though it really shouldn't. But technically, this is his second win as the Jets starting quarterback. So I thought that was funny. And also saying after the game, he missed the post game or the basically the post game interviews. After a win, because it's been a long time. It's been a long road back for him. He's made a lot of headlines in the offseason, but the Jets were able to pick up the win. And, it didn't get off to a great start. The Jets defense struggled early. I was able to watch. I was out for, pretty much most of the day yesterday, being at work. But, I was able to, watch basically most of the first quarter before I had to leave. And, it wasn't great. Wasn't great. The Titans, they were, trying to, put last week behind them. This was their home opener. And, the Jets defense just did not play well to start off this game. And, it just looked like, oh, here we go again with the Jets. For Jet fans, that's how they were feeling. But, both teams exchanged punts to start off the game. Then the Titans put together a touchdown drive, 9 plays, 68 yards down the field. Calvin Ridley scored a rushing touchdown from 10 yards out. He had a big day for the Titans, so that's good for them going forward. That put them up 7-0. And the Jets punted again. The Jets punted their first 3 drives. The Titans fumbled in this game. So this was, I don't know what Will Levis is doing on this play. So back-to-back weeks now, these boneheaded turnovers. I mean, he's got to stop. He's trying to, get it to Tajay Spears, and it just ended up being a fumble. As he's going down, he tries to give it to Tajay Spears, and the Jets ended up recovering on the play. Quincy Williams ended up recovering it looks like. It says QI Williams, so it's either Quincy or Quinnen. Either way, one of them recovered the fumble, and the Jets took over, but they ended up punting as well. Then Will Levis threw a pick. This was on their very next drive, the first play, trying to hit Treylon Burks. That gets intercepted, and the Jets cashed in, scored a touchdown. And this was Aaron Rodgers connecting with Braylon Allen from 12 yards out. It was a little dump-off pass that he also had a good game, too. Both running backs for the Jets played well in this game. Then the Titans, they answered with a field goal. Nick Folk, a former Jet, 41-yard field goal to make it 10-7. So that's what the score was at the half. Then the Jets opened up the second half. Another touchdown drive. Some penalties on the play. There was a roughing the passer penalty on 3rd and 15 on Jeffrey Simmons. So that kept the Jets drive going. Breece Hall had a 30-yard run on this drive. And then Aaron Rodgers, a great play here to find Breece Hall, who made a great catch. Great pitch and catch for 26 yards to make it 14-10. Both teams exchanged punts. The Titans had a punt blocked. Jets cashed in with a field goal. Greg Zuerlein from 33 yards out. So, 17-10. Then the Titans answered with a touchdown. Will Levis connected with Calvin Ridley. This was an unbelievable play because it looked like the Jets were going to pick that off, but somehow the ball found Ridley instead. It was able to get through, and Ridley caught it. 40-yard touchdown to tie the game. Jets punted. Titans punted again. A lot of punts in this game. But then, towards the end of the game, Jets put together a touchdown drive. Rodgers connected with Garrett Wilson for 26 yards. Mike Williams had a big catch in this game on 2nd and 16 from the Titans' 45. He had a big catch, and that set up eventually Braylon Allen from 20 yards out scored a touchdown to make it 24-17. And then the Titans, they went down the field. They were driving. They got deep into Jets territory, but it wasn't. They weren't able to get it into the end zone, and the Jets end up winning 24-17. Aaron Rodgers went 18 to 30 for 176 yards, so didn't throw for a ton of yards. 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. Did not turn the ball over in this game. So it was Quincy Williams that recovered the fumble. Garrett Wilson was their leading receiver, 4 receptions for 57 yards. Breece Hall, 7 for 52 and a touchdown. Braylon Allen, 2 for 23 and a touchdown. Mike Williams, that big 19-yard reception. Alan Lazard, after a big day last week, only had 2 for 11. Tyler Conklin had 1 reception for 10 yards. Malachi Corley had 1 reception for 4 yards in this game. The Jets had 4 sacks in this game. But big news, though, Jermaine Johnson is feared to have torn his Achilles. He was carted off the field. So that's a big loss on the Jets' defensive line. And that gives Hassan Reddick leverage because now the Jets need a pass rusher. And the Jets are probably going to have to, cave in and give him what he wants because now they're kind of thin there with now Jermaine Johnson likely out for the year. If it's a torn Achilles, he's definitely out for the year. But that's a big loss for the Jets. And then as for the Titans, Will Levis went 19 to 28, 192 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. The Titans, as his team, ran the ball for 130 yards. Calvin Ridley had a rushing touchdown in this game. Tony Pollard was their leading rusher, 17 carries for 62 yards. Ridley was their leading receiver, 4 receptions for 77 yards and a touchdown. Had a big day. Will Levis, bad turnovers in this game once again. That took points off the board. Titans defense had a couple of sacks in this game. Callahan, their coach, did not hold back on Levis with the mistakes that he made in the game. So, Will Levis has not looked good the first 2 games of the year, which is concerning. I mean, I know it's a new system, but, it's just it seems like he's also just trying to do too much. Like, just, if you got to take the sack, take the sack. Don't try to, because if you're forcing the ball up like he has the first 2 weeks, it's going to cost you, and it has. Because last week the Titans could have won if he just would have took this. I mean, if he just would have took the sack instead of giving up that pick 6. I mean, Titans could have won that game. I mean, you left points on the board with these turnovers here. It's not good. So they got to clean that up. But he has not looked great the first 2 weeks. But as for the Jets, that's a big win. Because, you fall to 0-2, I mean, this thing is really going to start to unravel. They got a tough game on Thursday against the Patriots. The Patriots did lose to Seattle, but they, that game went to overtime. The Patriots are not going to be a pushover. They are really going to bring it to you, and that's a division rival. So, it might be a game that you look at and say, the Patriots aren't that good. The Jets should be able to roll over them. Not so fast. The Patriots are going to play the Jets tough on Thursday. But this is a step in the right direction. Rodgers, again, looked efficient. Missed some throws, of course, throughout the game. But, again, made some great plays. I mean, the pass to Breece Hall for the touchdown was nice. That pitch and catch to Mike Williams late in the game, that was huge. Even though that was Mike Williams' only catch of the game, that was a big play. And, this running back, Allen, looks good. It wasn't really a factor in the game last week against the Niners, but was a factor here. That could be a nice duo that they got between him and Breece Hall. That's huge. So there's things to like with the Jets in the direction that they're going in. But I still have my concerns about the defense. The defense just does not look the same as it did last year, so that's a bit of a problem. So the Jets are going to have to figure it out, and especially now with Jermaine Johnson, being out for the year, most likely they gotta figure it out. And you might have to pay Hassan Reddick. That's what you're gonna have to do. You might have to give him what he wants. So, but it was just nice to see Rodgers get a win. He has. I mean, look, he hasn't been spectacular, but you know what? He's been good enough. The Jets are 1-1. Last week they lost to the Niners. Not many teams are going to beat the Niners on their home opener to start off the year. So, but it's just how they lost with Jordan Mason just completely shredding him. But yeah, there's things they got to clean up. But you know what? This is a team that could get better and better as the season goes on. Rodgers is only going to get better. Getting all that rust off, and you just got to hope that the defense puts it all together, because that's what can make this Jets team, go far this year is their defense. With Rodgers playing, he doesn't have to be the Aaron Rodgers of old, just has to be good enough. The defense has to be what it has been the last couple of years. There's still things they got to clean up. If this defense could play up to its potential, like it has in the past, the Jets are going to be only that better. And just imagine when Aaron Rodgers starts throwing for, can he get to 300 yards? Because, in 2022, he hasn't, he didn't at all. So I'd like to see if he can get to that, at some point this year, which I think he will. I think he will. But, he's just got to keep dusting that rust off. Get those cobwebs out. But he has he hasn't looked bad. He has been playing. He's been playing decent these first two games. So we'll see what happens on Thursday. Like I said, they got the Patriots and then they got the Broncos the following week. So the Jets should be 3-1. Now you go up against the Vikings in London. That's a tougher game. We'll see what happens there, but they should be 3-1 after this stretch. There's a lot to like with the Jets. Again, some concerns there. And then as for the Titans, Will Levis has got to, kind of tone it down with trying to play hero ball. Calvin Ridley had a good game. Tony Pollard has looked good the first two games. So there's things to like with the Titans, but their quarterback has got to start playing better. And it's funny how people are saying, look at Malik Willis picking up a win yesterday for the Packers, and it's like maybe they made the wrong move. But yeah, that's kind of an overreaction a little bit. So, but props to the Packers for getting a win yesterday with no Jordan Love, and it's possible Jordan Love could be back against the Titans because that's when the Packers, that's who the Titans play next week. So, or we could see Malik Willis take on Will Levis. That could be a nice little storyline going into the week. Former Titans quarterback coming back to take on his former team. But we'll see. So, yeah, let me know what you guys think, though, about this game. Again, congratulations to Aaron Rodgers for picking up his win. It was nice to see that. At least one New York team, represented the city and the state, nicely. Well, Buffalo plays in New York. At least one of the local teams here, was able to, give us a win. While the other one, we'll get into the other one. Not today, but we'll get into it. The other one kind of embarrassed us once again. So we're going to take our final break of the show, and then when we come back, we will talk about the Eagles-Falcons game tonight, preview that. So for one final time today, stick around, and we will be right back here on the GSMC Football Podcast.